a lot of great work. This is work that people said couldn't have been done before. And when you look at the polls, when you look at the viewers, when you look at the statistics, we're getting a lot of good feedback. And I think moving forward that we're going to do a lot of great things. We have highly respected people, highly intelligent people. We're really doing a phenomenal job, and I couldn't be prouder of my team.
We also have a YouTube channel debuting next week. Like I said, we have a lot of great stuff planned for this team, organization. Big things ahead.
Saved by William Bergshot on the power play. What a key save for the goaltender, William Bergshot. Shot passes to Izzo. Still a solution, they score! It's Bono time!
Here's Bono with it. He takes a shot and he scores! It's Bono time!
First time doing play-by-play with an extra crowd. Nice shot by Nicholas Izzo. He had an opportunity there. There's Kane with it. He takes a shot. Hit the post and in.
They've been doing this phenomenal, honestly. I think the way they've been keeping up with the team, all the work they've been putting in, it's pretty good. They've been videoing the games. It's great. We get to watch it after, see all the plays, see what we did right and wrong. The Instagram is up to date on everything. They're posting all the updates that happen day by day. So, I think the production team's doing a phenomenal job right now.
We are live on the Saravo Broadcasting post-game show.
Live on the Saravo Broadcasting intermission brought to you by Saravo Broadcasting. I'm your host, Doug Saravo.
Darson Schoeneck. We are unbeatable.
That didn't work out. The Devils haven't had a legitimate, backup goaltender.
All right, we are back on the Doug Saravo Show. We have Orsten Schoening back on the show, the former New Jersey Devils season ticket holder. Orsten, how are you today?
Doing good, Doug. Thanks for inviting me back on.
Yeah, no problem.
Much worse than last time.
Oh yeah, I should really keep track of our shows and like the wins and losses between.
Yeah, so this was very poor. I know we first talked about a quarter of the way through where there was still some hope that they probably were going to miss the playoffs, but they were playing pretty well because they started off 7-3-2. So about a quarter of the way of the season, they were still kind of in it. Then the last time we talked, they had that 10-game losing streak in there, and now they've just been withering away to nothing at this point. After they start off 7-3-2, they have now officially won 9 of their last 36.
That's one more win than Montreal altogether.
Altogether, yeah. So I think they're at 16 maybe? Yeah, they're 16, 26, and 5. That currently is worse than the Metropolitan. I think it is fourth worst in the East. And they have games at hand. Ottawa's only a point behind. They have 5 games at hand. Buffalo is 2 points behind. They have 2 games at hand. And Montreal is just historically bad. So there's not much there. And then again, this is another instance of the Devils being a bottom 5 team in the NHL again.
Keyword again.
Yeah. And I should apologize. They're actually 6th worst currently. Ottawa will probably pass them because they're only 1 point behind, 5 games at hand. So, you're looking at probably a team that's going to definitely finish in the bottom 8 of the league again.
Yeah, we're 2 points ahead of Buffalo, 3 points ahead of the Kraken expansion draft team.
Yep.
Montreal, the worst, with 23. Arizona, 26 points, who we did lose to in New Jersey. Tough
and got
game.
Destroyed by.
It was an awful game to be at.
Yeah.
Besides the fact I got free food in the buffet, so that was the only plus.
That's the only plus. Yeah, that would be the only plus of a night like that. It's just not very fun to be a Devils fan for years now, but especially now.
Yeah, the last 10 years have been a disaster. So you want to make it another 10 more?
I mean, why not, right?
Yeah, why not?
I mean, the thing that sucks about people in our age bracket, I want to say maybe between, let's say, 15 to 30. We kind of missed the golden years. We just missed it. So, I mean, I'm old enough to remember their cup in 2003, but that, 2000, 1995, I wasn't born in 1995. 2000, I don't remember. 2003 is the only one I remember. That was actually the first year I got into them, was the 2002-2003 season. So we have, we've been struggling, and a lot of us can't really, be thankful for those glory days. A lot of the older fans, well, it sucks now, but we did have a good 20-year period. But a lot of us missed out on that.
Yeah, we did, from 95 through I guess you could say 2010.
Yeah, and we kind of, when we got into it, after the Devils Cup in 2003, there was a couple of heartbreaking losses, sprinkled in there between then and 2012. A lot of years, like the 2010 when they lost to the Flyers in 5 games as a 2 seed. There's a couple of instances like that where they didn't perform well. Getting 5 games in 2008 from the Rangers. We had a lot of disappointment.
2009 versus Carolina, you could say.
2000, yeah. That's the worst one. That's the worst one. And then also in 2006, we went into the playoffs with the 12-game winning streak, swept the Rangers, 16-game winning streak, and get decimated by Carolina. So we've seen a lot of heartbreak for the Devils.
2012,
yeah, obviously that was, that one was a little bit more forgiving because, we probably weren't even supposed to be, definitely weren't supposed to be there.
We beat the Rangers, forgiving. So what could be better?
Yeah, what could be, well, I mean, I'd rather have the cup, I guess.
I would too, but.
So I guess, it's been tough sledding, and I think we've had a couple of false starts for the Devils. This year was supposed to be the year where they competed for a playoff spot, and that is what the general manager of this team said, that come March, he wanted this team to be fighting for a playoff spot. But again, they're very, very, very far out of it.
Oh, for sure. Now, I'm sure you've seen that meme. I don't know if it's like a political meme or something, where it says, our expectations for you were low, but holy shit.
Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, I know that one. Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, like I said, I think our first the first time we talked about the Devils in the podcast, I said that they would be a better team, but they would just miss out on the playoffs. Now, I didn't think they were ready. I think they've proven that they're not ready, but I also think that they've proven that they're farther back than we anticipated to begin the year.
Yeah, I think like 80, 90 point range, just missed.
Yeah, I think I had them in the mid to low 80s, which would have been just missing by, less than 10 points. I mean, usually you need, I think, about 95 to get in. So, I think they would have missed between, 8 to 12 points, which, I think that would have been successful for them. But, right now we're looking at Boston is the 8th seed right now, and they are at 55 points. The Devils are at 37.
Holy shit.
That's 18. That's an 18-point swing.
That is embarrassing.
Yeah, it's embarrassing. And also, as much as I hate to say it, my prediction of the Rangers being a sleeper team was looking pretty good.
Yeah, you're getting correct with that.
So, hopefully not. Hopefully I'm not too correct on that. The Devils, I think what it's come down to is this team still can't score. And since Martin Brodeur left, the goaltending has been an issue. Corey was good for those years. There was no backup goalie. When Keith Kincaid started playing well, Corey had the injury and never was the same. There hasn't been a legitimate backup. The Devils have had a very, very bad goaltending situation for several years now. Blackwood obviously was played pretty poorly this year, honestly. I mean, he was way below expectations. He definitely looks like he's been playing through an injury for most of the year with the heel. I don't think we're going to see him again. I think he's probably going to be shut down for the season.
Yeah, I think he's done.
And again, you have 6 goalies that have played this year, 6, and you have these guys. Schmid and Dawes have been lights out in Utica, and they've been terrible here. And I'm not going to get on them because they're so young for goalies playing in the NHL, but they can't figure it out. They cannot figure it out.
Well, look who's playing in front of them.
Yeah, if you look at it, though, if you look at some of the analytics, they deserve to win a couple of games that they lose. Like, for example, that game against Dallas that they got destroyed in, I think it was 6-1, the ESPN game. According to the analytics, they deserved to win that game based on the way they played. Is that goaltending was terrible. And goaltending has been terrible. John Gillies is probably a third goalie on a team. Bernier didn't really play well, but when he was here, but he obviously was injured too. They need to bring in Blackwood and 2 other legitimate goaltending options in the training camp next year. Unfortunately, even though Bernier, had some flashes in the beginning of the year, I don't think you could bring him back coming off a hip injury. We've seen it with Corey Schneider. No. I really don't know what I would do because the market isn't great either. And also trading for a goalie is nearly impossible because no one wants to give up good goaltending because you know how important it is. I really don't know what they're going to do. I really don't know. Maybe you can one of these guys that you might package, maybe you could bring a goaltender prospect back. Maybe that's in the 22, 23 range. I mean, you're ideally the biggest acquisition the Devils could have a goaltender is getting Mckenzie Blackwood back playing the way that we've seen him play before. That would be the biggest acquisition that they could have. Because honestly, I don't know if you feel the same way. The Devils defense hasn't been that bad this year. I think it's been a real improvement on the back end. Ryan Graves has played well this year.
Jonas Siegenthaler.
Yeah, Jonas Siegenthaler has been probably our best defenseman. Now that Dougie's been out, he's been outstanding.
Yeah, he's been a stud. He's been a stud.
He's been really good.
There are people in my section with the Jonas Siegenthaler jersey.
He's been that good.
$250 worth.
I'm not too surprised. I mean, he's been really, really good this year. He's really sound defensively, which I think we've been looking for on the Devils for a long time. Someone that was just sound defensively. I felt like, we kind of had a lot of, two-way defensemen for years now. Never a real stay-at-home guy. I think, Fitzgerald definitely hit on Graves. He definitely hit on Siegenthaler last year. Obviously, Hamilton was playing very good this year. However, with the injury, he's been out from over, by the time he comes back, pretty close to half the season. So the Devils' defense has been much improved. PK Subban has played better than he has the previous year. The only one that's regressed is Ty Smith. He hasn't played well at all this year. He's definitely in a sophomore.
Yeah, I really haven't seen him out there.
No, he hasn't been good. He's made a lot of turnovers in his own end. He's not breaking the puck out like he was. His skating has looked choppy. I'm not going to get too much on him. NHL defensemen take a long time to develop. He definitely has had a little bit. It's definitely concerning. I think it's more than a sophomore slump. I think there's a bigger issue there. I don't think we could just assume that he's going to bounce back next year. You certainly hope so, but I think there's a little bit more to it. I do think he will be a good player, but maybe we have to lower our expectations on what exactly he could be. I don't think we're looking at a top pairing defenseman.
So we're talking about defensemen. Would you say, because for me, I noticed that ever since Dougie Hamilton went down to injury, this team fell apart. So would this Devils team be a 15-win team if Dougie Hamilton never went down to injury?
No, I don't think so. I think that the power play has actually been pretty good, and you can argue that with Dougie there, it would be even better. When he went down, they were terrible on the power play. It's actually kind of funny that since he's went down, they've been so much better. you can't replace a Dougie Hamilton. I mean, he had 20 points in 30 games on a team that really hasn't played that well, and without any power play numbers because they haven't scored in power play when he was playing. You probably sprinkle a few more here and there. I don't think that Dougie Hamilton is helping the Devils walk into a playoff spot if he was here the last 15 games. But no, you could definitely say that they would have a win here or there. But overall, no, I think we're pretty much in the same spot. There's a lot bigger issues than Dougie Hamilton not being out, namely being goaltending.
So let's get to the coaching staff. There were a few fire Lindy chants, fire Recchi chants. Would there have to be a change within the coaching staff?
I think that's a given at this point. I think that Tom Fitzgerald is an intelligent man. I think that he knows he's going to be on the hot seat after this year. His goaltending situation hasn't worked out, which I don't think was really his fault. The Devils also don't score. They really haven't done a good job providing quality wingers for Nico and Jack. And I think that is probably the biggest blemish on his record is he really hasn't surrounded Nico and Jack with enough talent. He's going to get rid of this coaching staff. The entirety of the coaching staff will be gone. Lindy Ruff will be gone. I think he's outdated at this point. Mark Recchi, that was a swing and a miss. I think a lot of us liked that hiring when it happened. And Nasreddine, the penalty kills looked good. The defenses looked better this year, but I think we just need to get out of that old regime. He's a Shero holdover, Hines holdover. I think we just need to move in a different direction as a whole because these guys have been losers for 5 years. There's a loser mentality in that locker room, and Nasreddine's part of it.
Yeah, that's the worst. All the guys that have been here, whether it's Brat, Nico, Zaka,
and this is why a lot of these guys need to go. These guys that have been here for as long as this team has a loser mentality. They are losers. Every single one of them have known nothing but losing for their entire careers, except for a couple of them that were on good teams. PK Subban was obviously on a couple of good Montreal teams. Dougie was on a good Boston team, good Calgary team, and a good Carolina team. Most of these guys are losers. And until they change that, until they prove us wrong, they will continue to be losers.
It's a shame.
Yeah, David Severson said in an interview, I want to say maybe last year, that in the past, teams have quit. Some players have quit on this team, and he's part of the leadership group. He has to be the longest tenured Devil that I'm thinking of right now. He is. And how many times has he made the playoffs? 1. He's played 5 playoff games in his life. I'm not throwing it all on him. I think that he is going to be a really good defenseman for somebody else when he eventually gets shipped out of here.
That's the problem. Eventually, we keep shipping out these players that we should be building around. Bringing in Taylor Hall, you shouldn't have gotten to a point where you trade him to rebuild. Same thing goes with Kyle Palmer. You shouldn't have to trade him to rebuild. It's the same story.
Yeah. With Palmieri, though, it looks like they actually dodged a bullet moving him because he has 1 goal this year, and that contract is atrocious that they have him to. I think it was 5x5, if I'm not mistaken, and he's been really bad. So they dodged a bullet there. Taylor Hall, that was a really fun season, and seeing the Devil win the Hart Trophy, that's really cool. We probably won't see it again. That season gave a lot of us false hope that this team was better than they were.
Didn't you renew the year after?
Yeah, the year after is when I renewed. Not after the Hart. I renewed after they had that really crappy year, but he was out for most of the year, and that was kind of what we attributed to. And then they got Jack Hughes, who Jack has obviously turned out to be a really good player, but he's the first player in the history of the NHL to come right from the U.S. development program. And, the expectations were way too high for him going into the year that he was going to be a first-line center coming right in. And they just traded for PK Subban. So
Wayne Simmons.
Jack Hughes coming. Yeah, Wayne Simmons looked like it was going to be a good signing. So, yeah, Wayne Simmons coming in. Yeah, Jack Hughes, number 1 pick. PK Subban was just traded for, who was only, I think, 2 years removed from a Norris Trophy nomination. And then Taylor Hall was just a Hart Trophy winner. And before he was hurt that year, he was performing just as good as he was the year before, point-wise. So I definitely got suckered in. I got my free Jack Hughes jersey. That's my consolation prize.
Oh, that's what they gave you?
Yeah, so we got 2 tickets. So I got 2 Jack Hughes jerseys. So which is nice. I wear them to the games.
Yeah, I'm still getting mine. I think sometime in May or April.
Yeah, sometime. Yeah.
Hughes
That's
and
nice of
Blackwood
them.
I got. So.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's good. The black one might look a little rough. But,
Yeah, right.
Hopefully it turns around. But no, they won't be getting me back anytime soon. And I know that a lot of them are starting to contact because they're letting you know about the auto renewal, which is total bullshit, by the way, too. That you have to opt out of the auto renewal. That is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And it was the same thing that I had to do because the Devils were terrible that year, obviously, and then they trade Hall. My account manager said, "Oh yeah, you have to opt out of your auto renewal." it's just predatory. It's like a Netflix account that just auto renews. It's predatory, and a Netflix account is $15 a month. The Devils you get auto renewed into something that's $2,000 a year. That's insane.
$3,400.
That's insane. $3,400. Yeah, I mean that's about what I was paying too for the 2 tickets. I think it was $3,400 for 2 tickets.
Yeah, it went from $2,500, $2,600, $2,800, $29, $32, and I think it's at $34.
And they have not gotten better in any of those years. That's the
we haven't.
thing.
We've been at the same.
That's why I advocate for everybody to ditch them. I know the thing that sucks is that you get worried that the owners are going to look elsewhere. I don't think the Devils are in danger of moving, but obviously a team in New Jersey in a smaller market, that question does loom. I don't think they're going anywhere, but something needs to change. And the fact that they up their prices every year is insane. It really truly is insane. This team has not improved at any point over the last 10 years.
So you bring up the owners. I was going to bring them up. Now, I don't want people to think this is like turning into a political conversation, but do you think these owners care at all? Because you could look at 2 markets. You could look at Philadelphia basketball. It gets ratings, it gets money, and then you could look at hockey in downtown Newark. No one shows up, nothing sells. So do you think these owners don't care about winning, and do they eventually maybe sell the team?
Well, I don't want to say that they don't care about winning, because if they don't care about winning, you don't trade for PK Subban. That was a $9 million contract they traded for. They said it was a priority to sign Hall. I think that they would have signed Hall for a contract in the $9 to $10 million range, which would have been disastrous for this team because he's not that kind of player anymore. And instead they had to trade him, which was the right call. And they just signed Dougie Hamilton to a $9 million contract. They just gave Jack Hughes $8 million. I don't think that it's a money. I think the owners definitely bought this team because of the Prudential Center and that the arena. The last time I checked was I think in the top 10 grossing arenas in the entire world because it's a very populated area in New Jersey.
Do you see how many events are happening at the Rock over the summer?
Yeah, I mean, you look at there's so many events happening at the Rock. You have Disney on Ice, you have concerts, you have monster truck rallies, you have all these things that come to Prudential Center, and people go to them and they make a lot of money on it. The concerts, every single big star comes here. If they go to Madison Square Garden, they're going to Prudential Center too. And they're making a lot of money on it. I think that's that was what was so attractive about the Devils. I don't want to say that they don't care about winning. I do understand why some people have that perception, but I wouldn't go that far. I definitely wouldn't go that far. I think they've showed – I don't think they're hockey guys, and I think that's why you don't hear from them too often because they don't know hockey. And they leave it up to the general manager. They leave it up to the coaching staff to operate the hockey department. They have a guy they have Brodeur in there as well. They have hockey guys there, and they let them do the talking. They're definitely not hockey experts, but I'm not willing to say that they don't care. Will they sell the team? Maybe they'll sell the team at one point if someone wants to go crazy.
Yeah, you never know. Hey, maybe you and we could turn that thing around.
Oh, okay, yeah. I would just need to get a couple more bucks in the bank account before we do that, obviously. But yeah, sure.
Yeah, because you look at it, it's like the same thing. Early January, we're out of the playoff picture.
I mean, it was December this year. They went on that they went, I believe, over a month that they only beat the Flyers. I think they beat the Flyers twice.
They beat the Flyers.
That was the only team that they beat. They couldn't beat anybody else. And then the Flyers shit-canned them that one game. And then that's when I thought Lindy was going to be fired. Honestly, I'm somewhat surprised that Lindy wasn't fired, and Mark Recchi. I think this is kind of the reason why Ray Shearer wasn't here is that he held on to Hines way too long in the 1920 season. I think that's what ultimately lost his job. And Fitz did the same thing this year. I think it's a lost season, so at this point, I think changing the coaching staff makes zero to less than 0 cents. But you definitely are going to see a change in the offseason. I don't know which way they're going to go. I don't know if they're going to go with Deneen, who's almost 60, so I don't even know if that's the route they're going to take. But they will change the coaching staff, and it will be all three. It will be the head coach, and it will be both assistants.
So if Austin Schoening was the general manager for the New Jersey Devils, what would his first task be? Would he maybe change coaching and bring in a guy like a Patrick Elias or a Travis Zajac, or would he try and make a big trade? Would he trade the first round pick for a big name guy? What would Austin Schoening do if he was named the general manager of the New Jersey Devils?
I think we've now seen, you've had John Hines here, you've had Nazardine interim coach, and you've had Lindy Ruff. And I think the consistent thing is that this team is just devoid of talent. They don't have enough talent. I think you need to do a better job on the roster before we worry about the coaches. I mean, in terms of Patrick Elias and Travis Zajac, okay. I need something a little bit more experience. I'm not looking just to bring in guys that are legends on the team. The first thing that the Devils need to do is they need to find wingers for their 2 stud centers. They don't have it right now. Jesper Bratt, admittedly, I think I mentioned this too, that I was done with Jesper Bratt if he didn't play well this year. I would have moved on from him. And he's played outstanding, and he's going to get a huge contract. You have that winger. You hope that Holtz is going to be a winger that's going to be worth being the 7th overall pick in the draft. You're missing 2. I think you're missing 2 other top six wingers. I don't think you have them right now. Pavel Zacha is not a top 6 winger. Andreas Johnson is not a top 6 winger. They do seem that they want to keep Darson Mercer at center. If he ever did switch to wing, that would be one less that you have to worry about. But right now, I think the biggest issue with the Devils is Nico Hischier is currently playing with Pavel Zacha and Nathan Bastian as his wingers. And I really don't know how you could ask someone like Nico, who is a very good player, but he's not the best offensive player in the league. He's not Jack Hughes on offense. You need to give him something more substance. Pavel Zacha needs to go. And Bastian needs to be on the 4th line. That's the first thing that the Devils need to do, and it's something that they've needed to do for a while. They've swung and missed on who they brought in. They brought in Andreas Johnson. They brought in Tomas Tatar, and they've missed. They've missed on them. Pavel Zacha continuing to be shoved in the top 6. It's a miss. That's the first thing you need to do. After that, you probably worry about the goaltending situation. Like I said earlier, you're going to keep Blackwood around because he's a young goaltender, and the Devils are going to need somebody to play goalie that's in that age range. Drafting somebody now, they're not going to be ready for 3, 4, 5 years. You're already wasting the primes of Jack and Nico. They need to get somebody in here that's ready to play now. Like I said earlier, they need to have Mckenzie Blackwood, and they need to have 2 legitimate NHL quality goaltenders in camp with him. And then I'll worry about the coaching. I think the roster is the biggest issue right now because we have a bunch of losers on the team, and they've went through 2 different regimes of coaches, and they've all had the same result. So that's my biggest issue. Ship out the losers, ship out the guys that don't want to be here, ship out the guys that you don't see being on a Stanley Cup team in 5 years, and get them out of here. Get them the hell out of here.
All right, let's do that now. Let's play touchable or untouchable.
Okay.
All right, let's see what Austin Schoening, general manager, has in store for the New Jersey Devils' future. All right, let's start with Yegor Sharangovich. Touchable or untouchable?
Definitely touchable. I'm not actively looking to trade him, but if he was to be included in a package for a winger or even a defenseman, even a goalie, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think that he was the beneficiary of the COVID season. He's played okay, and he's had spurts. It's not worth being he's not a top 6 winger. I think he caps out at a middle 6 role.
All right, let's go with Nico Hischier, the captain.
He's definitely untouchable. I actually saw there was some prominent person in Canada suggested a Nico Hischier for Cole Caulfield trade, which I thought was just insane. Cole Caulfield has 1 goal this year. I know Montreal's terrible, but people are hard on Nico because listen, he's the #1 pick and he's now the captain of this team, and he's the captain of a very of a team full of losers. So he's getting heat. I don't think he deserves all that heat. I think he's played pretty well. I think we all just have to temper our expectations on him. I said that Nico, I think, would cap out as a 70-point player maybe a year or two. I think that's even asking too much. I think he's probably gonna hover around the mid-50s in his good years, and maybe get into the 60s on some. But he hasn't had the wingers. His rookie year, he had Taylor Hall. He had mid-50s points, and that's been it. He's been struggling to find wingers the rest of his career. And he did play with Jesper Bratt and Pavel Zacha a lot last year, but neither of them were really that great. Jesper Bratt broke out this year. Jesper Bratt was still getting sat in games last year, and so was Zacha. So I think that if they have legitimate wingers, if they have Bratt continue to play the way that he does, if they have Holtz come in next year and play the way that we expect him to, and they bring in a guy or two that work on wing, and he's still not playing well, then then maybe you get on him. But for right now, and probably for the foreseeable future, he's not someone I'm willing to include in any kind of trade talks.
Jesper Bratt.
No, definitely not. I think just for the reason I said, I think he's the best winger on this team. He needs to continue to play with Jack Hughes. They've had amazing chemistry this year. They're both point-per-game players. That's something that you might have found. You might have lucked out on a 6th-round pick that is going to be a fantastic player, hopefully the rest of his career. Hopefully this isn't an outlier year. He's going to get paid. So let's see if he can keep it up. He's definitely untouchable.
Jimmy Vesey.
He doesn't mean much to this team. He hasn't really done much in a couple months either. He was a good story in camp, and the first couple games he had that goal against Tampa on the breakaway and that comeback game. If somebody wants him, he can be had.
All right, Pavel Zacha.
Pavel Zacha is the #1 person I want off this team. He has a great shot, and I think that's the only reason why you think you might keep him around or sign him next year to a low salary deal, because no one else is going to appreciate what he can do, and you're not going to get any value for him. So maybe you just stick it out for the rest of this year. Maybe you sign him to a 2-year deal this offseason at a very low AAV and see if maybe he could turn it around. But the guy, just to me, the way that he plays, he is the softest 6'3" player I've ever seen in my life. He does not get into the corners. He's not tenacious.
I noticed that a lot.
Playing with Nico is just it's just disrespectful to Nico, because Nico works his ass off every shift. You can get on Nico for his offensive game, but he never cheats the shift. He's working his ass off constantly. And Pavel Zacha half-asses it to the puck in the corners. He doesn't want to get involved physically. This guy is 6'3". He is a beast. He's huge. He's a tank. Does not want to be involved physically. And that's why you don't see. When is Pavel Zacha scoring goals in front of the net? It's slot shots. He's not scoring. He's not scoring in front of the net. The guy just doesn't. He doesn't want to get involved physically, and I think it's a major problem for an NHL player, especially one that's 6'3". I think that he has been a part of the losing culture of this team for a long time, and if he does well somewhere else, God bless him. I won't regret it. I think he definitely is someone that we should explore moving on from, whether it be through trade now or if they just don't re-sign him. I wouldn't even be upset about that if they just let him go for nothing. I think that you need to force yourself to find better wingers. Pavel Zacha is not a top 6 winger. You could find middle 6 guys. You can't. It's tough to find the top 6 guys. Force yourself to find better. I'm ready to move on from him.
Thomas Tatar.
He's been a complete disappointment this year. I know some of his analytics have looked okay. A lot of people said, "Oh, well, it's funny that his analytics have looked kind of like how Johnson's did last year, and then Johnson played a lot better this year." I'm done with the analytics. I'm done with all that. The guy doesn't produce. He doesn't produce. A lot of people have warned us about this in the past when we did sign him, that he kind of just becomes a ghost. You never see him really do anything. He loses the puck all the time. He doesn't seem like he's he's doing much. So, and I think he's a guy that knows that's going to be traded at trade deadline. So I think that's definitely someone you move on from as well if he can get something.
And these are just the lines going through Daily Face-Off. So, Andreas Johnson.
If someone wants him, you can have him. I think he started off on fire this year, and it was awesome to see. Ever since he got in that fight, he took off his helmet and got the penalty. He's been terrible. So it's like he took off his superpowers and left it with his helmet. So again, it's not a top 6 winger. The Devils have middle 6. They have plenty of middle 6 and bottom 6 guys. They don't have the top 6 guys. You need to force yourself to find better. Move on.
Darson Mercer.
So I love Darson Mercer. I think he's a really, really good player. I think he's going to be someone that's going to be on this team for a long time. However, if he's a part of a deal to get a significant piece, let's say to get a proven elite 30, 35, 40 goal scorer, which I don't know how many there are out there, I would be open to including him in a trade if we get that massive piece. And I think that we've been saying for years that eventually the Devils are going to make a trade that hurts. All of these trades so far, the one for Johnson we gave up, Joey Anderson, Mirko Mueller we didn't give up much. PK Subban we gave up, PK Subban we gave up a second. Steve Stantini, again, not much. The Devils haven't really made trades that have hurt. Eventually they're going to have to do it. Will Darson Mercer be included in that trade? Possibly. Do I want him to? No. But, I'm not going to be like the Rangers that didn't want to trade, their 17th forward for Jack Eichel. So I'm not going to be a hypocrite and say that to get an elite player, you might need to give up something like a Darson Mercer. I would hate it, but if that's truly the route that we need to go to bring somebody in that can elevate Jack and Nico on the wing, I think I would be willing to do it. But again, I hope not. I hope we can find another route. But if that has to be done, I think that it's something you definitely need to explore.
Adam Boquist's brother.
He's played well lately. He's definitely touchable. I don't see why anyone in their right mind would want to bring him in. But, he's played better. Good for him that he's played better. He's been a disappointment, too. When he got drafted in the second round, I thought that we maybe had a good piece coming up, but he's kind of been jerked around the lineup for a couple of years, so I can't get on too much. But again, what have you done for me? Not much.
Mason Gersten.
Next one.
No, it's funny. There's actually a Devil fan with a Mason Gersten jersey.
Yeah, I'm sure. Listen, you could tell that the guy tries hard, but he's just not an NHL player. And the guy like Lindy Ruff's just such an old school coach that he still wants to have a guy like Mason Gersten in the lineup. It's embarrassing. I'm sure he's a nice guy, and I'm sure he works his ass off, and he's in the NHL, so good for him. I'm not going to say he's a terrible player, but he's not for my team.
Michael Mcleod.
I'm willing to move on from him as well. Again, he hopefully I'm not really. If he's not going to be included in a big trade, no one's going to say, well, I need Michael Mcleod to be a part of this trade. If you want to have this player X, you need to have Michael Mcleod in the trade. No one's going to be asking for that.
No, but he would be good on like a team that's ready to win the Stanley Cup.
Yeah, sure, but you saw him he lost his goal scoring touch.
Yeah, he really has.
He really has, and I think part of the reason why I was sour on him is that Lindy Ruff is incessant on playing him in every situation possible. He's on the ice there has been several games this year that he has been on the ice more 5-on-5 than Jack Hughes and Jesper Bratt and Nico Hischier. That's insane. And he's been really good at the faceoff. He can be a really good fourth-line player. A fourth-line player and a penalty killer. He does not need to be on the ice. He should not be matched up with guys like they used to do with Zajac. When Zajac would always be matched up with Crosby. He'd always be matched up with Crosby, with Backstrom. That's the way that they always did Zajac. Michael Mcleod is never going to be a Travis Zajac. Travis Zajac has had 50, 60-point seasons. Michael McLeod's never going to have that. If he has more than 30 points, I'd be pretty shocked. No, he needs to be play. He needs to play on the fourth line. He's not. We were hoping that maybe he would be a third line center, but we have Darson Mercer now. We don't need him to play any more than fourth line. And I think the fact you have that old curmudgeonly coach like Lindy Ruff that wants to play these guys, it kind of reminds me of how Hines was with Kevin Ruby, where he was just insistent on playing this guy in every situation and being on the ice all the time. Michael Mcleod, nice player. You saw that he kind of had a fluky year last year. He scored 10 goals in the shortened season, and I think he's got 3 or 4 this year. I think he probably has 4, maybe 4 or 5, because he had two last night. He's a fourth line player, and he's played as such.
Nathan Bastian.
Again, somebody that it's nice to have on your team. I'm not going to say he's untouchable. I would like to keep him in a fourth line role. I think him and Mikey have good chemistry. He's a big body. He does throw it around, and he's been really good in the power play this year, standing in front of the net, taking Miles Wood's role. He's been really good this year, I think, and he's kind of been the elixir for the Devils' power play. So I'm not going to say he's untouchable because he's a fourth line player, and he's definitely. I'm not going to say he's untouchable. He's a fourth line player. He's not going to make or break the Devils, but he's played well this year, and I look forward to seeing what he can do as this team improves. But no, if someone wanted Nathan Bastian for something, obviously you would listen to it.
And lastly of the forwards, you got Jackie Hughes.
Jack Hughes has been a glorious season. Is exactly what we wanted to see from him. I said I wanted to see him in a full season around the 60-point mark. If he continues to play the way that he has, minus the injuries, he'll be way above that. He'll be at a point-per-game player. He started off hot. He had the injury. He had maybe a 2-week span when he first came back that he was not playing well. And then around the Christmas time, he went absolutely nuclear, and he's played fantastic. This is the player that we were waiting for. This is the guy that's going to be the face of the franchise for the next 10 years. He's going to lead us to the playoffs eventually. He's going to be the best player on this team, and the Devils compete for the playoffs. This is exactly what we're looking for. He'll continue to get smarter with the puck. He does turn the puck over too much.
Stanley Cup?
I'm not going there. I'm not going there. But he will. If the Devils win the Stanley Cup, he will be the most important player. I'm not willing to go there because I haven't seen. I'm not confident that this organization is going to put him in the right place to get there. But he definitely will be a top 10 player in the NHL for many years to come, and will be the best player on this team, and will lead them to playoff series wins. This is exactly what you want to see from him. If he played the full season, you're probably looking at a guy that was probably in the high 70s to low 80s for the whole year. But as stands, he's probably going to be right around that point per game player, which is exactly what we needed. And I'm very excited about how Jack Hughes has played this year. That's been the biggest bright spot this year for the team.
So according to Orsten Schoening, we have only 4 untouchable forwards. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, it's pretty sad. So it was Jack, Nico, and Brad were the untouchables, and I think Mercer I was iffy on. I said that he's untouchable, but I would include him in a trade for a big piece. So I mean, technically it's only 3.
Yeah, 3.5.
So 3.5,
defense,
which is bad.
Yeah, that's pretty bad. Defense, we got Jonas Siegenthaler. He's
played really well this year. I need to see him continue to do it. So I'm not ready to add him to the untouchable list. I think he would, I'm not looking to trade him. But if he was to be included in something that this team needs, you have to explore it. So no, I wouldn't put him on the untouchable list.
Damon Severson.
He is on the extremely touchable list, right behind Pavel Zacha. I think it's time to move on from him. Unless the Devils play really well next year, I think he will be a really, 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 really good second-line defenseman on a good team. I think that we started to see that with Dougie, taking the first-line responsibilities on right defense. However, he's been a part of the losers' mentality for many years. I don't think he's going to re-sign here. I think if you can get maximum value out of him this year, and I know it's going to suck because the Devils' defense will take a massive hit without him, if you can get a team to pay top price for a year and a half of Damon Severson, you do it. It's defense. It's a right-hand shot. Adam Larson was worth Taylor Hall. So that's all you need to know about how right-hand defensemen are viewed. The Devils got a first-round pick and a B prospect in Nolan Foote for Blake Coleman. They got a first-round pick from the Islanders for Paul Mary and Zajac, who both had down years. Damon Severson is worth a lot. He's worth quite a bit. Now, will they move him? I don't know. I don't think they will because I don't know if he's going to be the most attractive guy in the market that they're going to be willing to give up significant assets for. But if you're able to get a first-round pick and an A prospect, I would move him for sure.
Ty Smith and PK Subban.
PK Subban, I think, veteran leadership, but, it's nice to have. This team doesn't have a lot of veterans, which is a problem. So I'm also not actively looking to move him. However, if I would do like a third for him, I might even do less. Time to move on. It didn't work out. He gets paid a lot of money. Time to move on. Thank you for the 2.5, 3 years, but definitely time to move on.
Colton White, Ryan Graves, and Dougie Hamilton.
Well, I think I missed Ty Smith. Ty Smith, I wouldn't put him in untouchable, but I think that his value is so low right now compared to, where it should be. And I think it's just a sophomore slump. There is a little, like I said earlier, there's a little bit more to it, but I think that he will rebound and hopefully will be a top 4 defenseman on this team. I don't think he's a first-line defenseman, but we don't need him to be. We have Dougie Hamilton, and we have someone named Luke Hughes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about him. We got Lukey.
You forget about we have a lot of D prospects. You have Luke Hughes, you have Shakir Mukhamadullin. Hopefully that's going to work out. I mean, Riley Walsh has played really well in the AHL this year. The Devils have some interesting pieces. They have interest, and if you look, the Athletic actually just ranked the Devils the 4th best prospect system, and it didn't include Darson Mercer because he graduated because he played this year. So if you throw Darson Mercer in that as well, which I kind of would because he's only played 40 games, the Devils have a really, really good prospect pool. And that's why hopefully we'll turn it around with these guys coming up. But on to what you said next, I believe it was Colton White. Okay, obviously no one's going to want to acquire him, but if he's a part of something, great,
yeah.
Cool. Beyond that, Ryan Graves, again, another one that I wouldn't put. I'm not looking to trade Ryan Graves, but I'm not putting him on an untouchable list. And I'll say the same thing for Dougie Hamilton. I am not looking to trade Dougie Hamilton, but if someone was to blow us away with something really stupid, obviously I think you would. But Dougie Hamilton is supposed to be here to be a quarterback on the power play, a power play specialist, your first-line defenseman. Hopefully we're going to win a couple playoff series with Dougie Hamilton being our best defenseman, and I think that we will. So I'm not looking to move him. I think I would throw him in the same bucket as Darson Mercer, which he is an untouchable, but he could be had if the deal was ridiculous.
All right, and we don't have to get into the goalies because John Gillis, but Mckenzie Blackwood was basically the guy we need to keep an eye on.
Yeah, we need to keep an eye on Mckenzie Blackwood. Last year I would have had him as untouchable. This year I definitely don't. I think it's been a very disappointing year. I will admit that obviously they didn't do right by him with the injuries, but we need to see what transpires with him. I think his value is incredibly low right now, so you're not looking to move him in any way.
All right, so before we let you go, Cincinnati Bengals or the Los Angeles Rams to win Super Bowl 56?
Oh, you got to go with Joe Shiesty. You got to go with Shiesty. I'm going with the Bengals just because they're a feel-good team, and I want to see them win. I do think that there's a legitimate concern about how the offensive line will hold up against the Rams pass rush, which is insane with Donald Floyd and Von Miller. It definitely could be a tough day for Joe Burrow, but I'm gonna go with them because they just beat the Chiefs at home in the playoffs, which is insane. Not many people have done that. I believe Tom Brady's the only one that has.
Yeah, Tom Brady.
Tom Brady's the only one that's beaten the Chiefs at home in the playoffs, and Joe Burrow just did. So I will go with Burrow. They're flying high right now. They beat the number 1 seeded Titans. They escaped from the Raiders. That was a very close one. They could have easily lost that one. And then they beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead. So that's definitely they have a lot of names on the resume. So they I am rooting for them. I will be betting on them as well. And
so did I.
So did you? Yeah, I'm definitely.
I bet James
and I. 3.5?
No, James and I bet them to win the Super Bowl before they even played the Chiefs. It was plus 850.
Oh, plus 8. Oh, so you're really invested in that.
Yeah,
that'd be a nice payout. Yeah, so that'll be interesting. I think the main question is can the Bengals offensive line, which is not very good, hold up against a really good Rams pass rush. That's gonna be the key to the game. That there's a lot of skill players. You have Jamar Chase, Joe Mixon on the other side. You have OBJ and then Cooper Kupp. We'll see. We'll see. It's nice to have a little bit of a different Super Bowl. You have two guys that haven't been in the Super Bowl before.
Yeah, it should be interesting.
The Rams have been there recently, but the team's a lot different than what it was. And the Bengals obviously haven't won a playoff series. Haven't won a playoff game in 30 years. I have hockey on the mind. So it's nice to see a little bit of a different matchup. I think that both Stafford and Burrow are really likable. I wouldn't be upset if the Rams won because I think Stafford paid his dues in Detroit for 10 years. So I wouldn't be upset if he won one. But I am rooting for the Bengals, and I am financially invested in them as well.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, I don't know if you watched some of my shows, but I actually predicted the Bengals to go to the Super Bowl, but lose to the Niners on January 15th, 2000.
I mean, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's pretty good. I think the Niners easily could have won that game last week.
They could have.
They could have won that game. A couple, Jimmy G throws, and they would have been in there. The 49ers are a really good team, and the NFC has to watch out if they ever figure out quarterback, because that's gonna be a dominant team.
Yeah, and then once Jimmy G heads to the Giants, we'll be right back.
Oh, Jimmy, you want Jimmy G on the Giants, Doug?
Or Russell Wilson.
Yeah. Oh, I have news for you. Daniel Jones will be your starting quarterback this year. He will play poorly, and then they will move on from him. They will draft someone in the first round next year. That's my prediction. What they'll do. I don't think Russell Wilson is going to be a Giant.
Oh, Daniel Jones.
I hope Russell Wilson will be a Giant because I think Russell Wilson is about a year or two away from completely tanking. So if they give up major assets for Russell Wilson, it will be very enjoyable. It will be Daniel Jones. I think they're going to do a hard reset. They're going to be very bad this year, and they're going to they have some draft capital now. They're going to make some picks. They need help everywhere. They need help at quarterback. They need help at offensive line. They need help at defensive line. They need help everywhere. They will make their picks. There's not a quick fix. Russell Wilson does not make this team good. So I think.
Well, that's what Evan Roberts said. Craig Harton said Russell Wilson can turn this into a 9-10 win team.
They're insane if they actually said that, and I don't like a lot of their takes to begin with. So no, the Giants are not a 9-10 win team with Russell Wilson. I don't think people have seen Russell Wilson play this year. He was okay at best. And second half of last year, as my fantasy quarterback, I knew he wasn't that good last year in the second half. No, I think that I know not nice for you to hear. I think it's Dallas's division until someone else steps up.
Yeah, but no team goes back to back in winning the division.
I think that's going to happen this year. I don't think the Eagles, the Commanders, or the Giants are going to be good enough to dethrone Dallas this year. I don't think so.
Damn it.
But the Giants, listen, you have draft capital. I know the Super Bowl is 10 years ago now, so it's really out of mind. But they held on too long to their guys and didn't make good moves. Gelman was a total disaster at GM. You probably could argue that he's one of the worst GMs in the history of the National Football League, with what he did to this team. And it's going to take some time to get out of it. I wouldn't expect the Giants to make the playoffs the next 2 years.
Yay. So am I still safe from being blocked by Austin Schoening on Twitter?
Oh, that was a long time ago. That we were in high school when that was a thing. It used to be fucking annoying on there.
Yeah, it was.
No, you've matured. You leave me alone about the Cowboys. I also don't use Twitter as much as I used to.
I don't use it either.
Like I used to. Yeah, so I'm not on there as much. But no, the Cowboy trolling doesn't piss me off as much as it used to. I mean, you gotta laugh when you have a team like the Cowboys that haven't made the NFC Championship game in my lifetime. You gotta learn to laugh. Both my teams have been disappointments for my lifetime. So.
Yep, not me though.
No, not you. So you got the Giants. You got the Giants 2 Super Bowls. So at least you have that.
Yeah, I've seen 2.
I have the Yankees World Series in 2009. That's all I got.
And you got 2003.
Yeah, again, but that was barely anything. 2003, I was 7. That was my first year into hockey. So
yeah, we got 2003.
Yeah, 2003. Okay.
So before we let you go, would you consider yourself one of the top roller hockey players in Monroe Rec hockey?
No, No. I mean, here's the thing about me in rec hockey is that I score a lot of goals, and I was usually one of the better players because of the way that my birthday fell. I was a July birthday, so I was always a year behind. So when some of the guys that we played in high school were playing in the older division, I was a year back. So I was playing with guys that were 2 years younger than me. So we would, I would definitely take advantage. I would definitely take advantage. I'm sure I have at least 50 career roller hockey goals on you, but
let's not talk about that.
But I mean, I was good at roller hockey. I was certainly better at roller hockey than ice. This is the way I'm much more comfortable skating with roller hockey. And then also, I have a pretty good shot, and the puck is lighter, so I'm able to really wire it with the roller hockey puck. No, just knowing the guys that did play roller hockey. No, I'm not going to say I'm one of the better players, but I definitely was pretty good. I thought I was pretty good. Like I said, being the oldest person in the league usually helped.
Because for the 4th year in a row, you are not eligible for the Monroe Township Roller Hockey League Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's too bad. Yeah, that's too bad. There's definitely guys that have been more deserving. Who's made it so far?
I'll go by the list. First, well, I don't think this is updated yet, but I'll just read who's in. You got Carmine Gizzi, you got Brandon Cacavalli, Doug Sarava, myself, Jason Gizzi, Brian Nichols, Connor Kloby, Matt Gizzi, Jimmy Burns, Brennan Germano, Nicholas Freitas, Kevin Morello, Zach Wilson, and then this year it looks like it was Mike Rose, Gerard Moretta, and Brandon Quinn.
Wow. And who chooses these out of curiosity? Is there one person choosing these? I think there is one person choosing these.
It's the MTRHL committee.
Okay, the committee. I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not going to say names, but I am better. I was a better roller hockey player than a couple of those names. I'm just going to put it out there. I was a better player than a couple of those guys. Definitely was not. I'm definitely not high up on the list of the ones that you've named, but I definitely was a better goal scorer than quite a few of the guys on your list. So you might have to. The Monroe Township Roller Hockey Committee might have to meet on Austin Showing next year.
Well, you got to wait till 24.
24. Oh, I'm not eligible until 24, or is that the next one?
No, you haven't been eligible yet. 2023.
Why am I not eligible?
I don't know. Ask the committee.
Why am I not eligible?
Right.
Jimmy Burns is only a year older than me. Mike Rose is a year younger than me. How are they eligible?
For next year, it's Nick Modugno, James Sharavo, John Carroll, Patrick Collins, Mike Nichols, and Matt Freitas. Yeah, you're not eligible.
Wow. Yeah, that's tough. Even on that one, I would say there's a couple questionable ones.
Probably
probably
2025.
Or
2024.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to be on that list next time. If I'm not, now that I know who is in the Monroe Township Hockey Hall of Fame, I feel that I definitely deserve to be there. Now that I know the names, so I don't know if you still have the stat sheets from back in the day, but you might have to give those a read.
All right, I'll give it to the committee.
Okay, thanks, appreciate it.
Do you have any idea who's in charge?
Of what?
The committee?
I think it's one person. I think one of those people have spoken in the last 2 minutes, and it's not me.
Oh, it's me, I guess.
Yeah, I guess so. I think it's the same one that runs the high school team's page.
How does everyone know that?
Okay, I'm not going to get into that.
All right, so we do have some breaking news.
Okay.
And I'll read some of his quote.
Okay.
Therefore, it is with a heavy heart that I announce my retirement from the game of hockey. While I am sad to say goodbye to the game I love, I am so very thankful to have shared these last 15 years with the greatest teammates and fans in the best sports city in the world.
Tuukka Rask?
Yeah, Tuukka Rask officially announces his retirement.
Yeah, he's been a really good goalie. I think he was even underrated for the years that I think I saw a list that goals saved above expected. He was, I think, 2 or 3 on the list. He's a really good goalie, and wish him the best in retirement. He played a lot of good years for a really good Boston Bruins team that probably didn't win as much as they probably should have with the quality of teams. They lost to Chicago and they lost to St. Louis, but they were there a lot, and he was a big part of it. Really good goalie. I think that he had a lingering injury that maybe it was just time to move on. So good for him. If the Devils can bring in someone as good as Tuukka Rask eventually, that would be very welcome.
All right, we got a minute left. Over under 30 wins for this New Jersey Devils team.
How many games are left? They're at 16 right. They're at 16 right now. I might be able to pull it up.
Yeah, they're at 16 wins.
They're at 16, and how many games do they have?
They have 47 games, so 82 minus 47,
so 35.
35.
35. So you have 35 games left. They need 14 of them. I'm gonna say under. I'm gonna say they hit like 28, 29.
Damn, that is awful.
Yeah, it's awful. And now that I'm looking at it too, I'm checking it. Join the Black and Red full season membership on sale now. No fucking way.
Nice. They want you back, Orson.
They do want me back. They will not get me back, unfortunately. They will not get me back. The last conversation I had with my ticket rep was, I will pay double the price it is now if I know the team is good.
All right, I'm just doing the math. So they would be 29.
Yeah, then you probably have to sprinkle a couple of overtime losses in there, I'm sure. And, they'll lose a couple shootouts because they're terrible at shootouts.
29. They would be like 29, 45, and 5. 29, 45, and 5.
I will say that it will be under. I do think it'll be 29. I wouldn't be surprised if they just go a tick over 30, though, because now that I'm thinking about it, having less than 30 wins is awful. So I don't know if they're that bad. If they go on another streak like they have been, though, I wouldn't be surprised. But hopefully not. I think under 30 wins would be a catastrophic failure. So hopefully we don't get to that point. But I think it's certainly possible.
Wow.
That's only 30. There's 35 games left. They theoretically could go. They could go 13. Let's say they go, 13, 15, which is 28, and 7. That's not out of the question. 13, 15, and 7. Does that sound out of the question?
No, that seems realistic, but that's
bad. That's super realistic. That's probably even better than you would think in terms of wins and losses and overtime losses. Yeah, no, it's not a good season. This season is another wash. It sucks, but we'll carry on and we'll see where they go from here.
Another draft pick.
Yeah, and if I can say before we go, I want the Devils to trade that draft pick. Who they trade for?
Yeah, I think we have to.
We have to trade. I could not be less concerned with the draft. I don't give a shit who the top 10 prospects are. I don't care. I couldn't care less. The Devils need to move in a different direction. They need to bring in guys that can play with Jack and Nico now. Now.
We have to.
We cannot have another guy that takes 2 or 3 years to get up here. It's nice to have. It was nice to have a couple of years ago, bringing up guys like Jack, watching guys like Nico develop, watching guys like Jack develop, having a guy like Holtz come up after being in the system for 2 years. They need to get moving. They need to get moving. They need to trade their first round pick. Probably is going to be in the top 8. I don't think it's a super deep draft. It's not top heavy. There's, a lot of people are even saying that Shane Wright is not going to be can't miss prospect at 1. They should be looking to trade their first pick for a winger. That's my opinion.
We have to. Now's the time.
They have to. Now's the time, and I think that they definitely will explore it because Tom Fitzgerald, after this year, will officially be on the hot seat when the 2022-2023 season begins. He will be on the hot seat. If they have another down year like this, Tom Fitzgerald will be gone.
All right, thanks, Orson. Seems like we have the same conversation.
Yep. Hopefully something else happens with the Devils that's an improvement. But honestly, at this point, I just want to see guys like Nico, Jack, and Brad continue to put the points up. I would like to see Dougie come back and let's see some team chemistry. Let's see how Dougie performs in the power play. He's probably not going to be too far away. I think they're coming home soon, so that's probably when we'll see Dougie again. We'll definitely see Jack at some point too. So we'll see what happens. We will see what happens. But also, it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world if they lose a couple more games, because that pick will just be nicer. The 5th or 6th overall pick will be worth a lot to someone. They'll move someone for a 5th or 6th overall pick.
Yeah, it would.
So that's the goal at this point. Play better, see the guys continue to produce that we need to produce, and go from there.
All right, thanks, Orson. It's been a pleasure.
Thanks for having me. Bye.
All right, anytime, Orson. Take care. That was Orson Schoening making a return on the Doug Serravo Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting. Bet like Michael Lepore. As always, thank you for supporting the Doug Serravo Show, Serravo Broadcasting, and all those involved with Serravo Broadcasting. We appreciate your support, and we will see you guys next time on the Doug Serravo Show, which is brought to you by Stutz Betting. Bet like Michael Lepore. We appreciate the support. I just got to read this first. Thank you for supporting the Doug Serravo Show, Serravo Broadcasting, and all those involved with Serravo Broadcasting. We appreciate you guys. So what is this, Mikey?
Can you see it? Put it up to...
Lift it up by the camera.
Can everybody see it?
Wait, move it back. Oh, number 38, Lepore. That's you.
I was in the locker room with that, in the room with 3 Hall of Famers.
No, that's customized. That's all.
Oh, I know. And listen. All right, I'm going to give people... No, that's for the pen.
Oh, yeah, that's for the pen.
No, they got to be more for the Razor.
16-1.
16-1, that's not bad.
Mike, what do you think about your Chargers this past season?
They stay. I'm sorry.
All right, thank you, Mike.
So what do you think of the city today?
It's nice, but a little bit nicer if the weather was nice. No, I like that fact that it only cost me 16 to 12 hours. 12 bucks.
This is great. Now you're going to make us some food.
No.
Yeah, there's stuff in your fridge. Should have brought the pie. Next time I'll go. I'll get it. Yeah, this is a great show. But yeah, you do have some leftovers in your fridge. I think it's time for dinner for you and I. Some in the fridge. Should we get the camera? All right, Mike. Any final thoughts for the audience? Myself.
It's been very entertaining. Hopefully, my picks come through and people can make a little money, stuff like that. Have a one. Enjoy your football season. And go bolt up, everybody.
There he is, everyone. That was Michael Lepore, otherwise known as the Bolt. No more Stutz. The Bolt. That's his name. What a show, Mike. Thank you for coming on.
Don't listen to these picks. You lose all your money. Trust me. Jaguars, if they win the division, I'll stop watching football.
Have it on audio, man. I just want to try on this jersey you got me. You know, what can I say? I'm a Giant fan, but...
Bolt up? Huh? Bolt up?
Hold up. Man of many nicknames. We got... All right, you don't want to be called Stutz. What about produce? I know produce. We're gonna go to a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. I love you, Mikey.
There you go. He's officially a Charger fan.
No.
If the Chargers win, I get lifetime pizza in his pizzeria. The Chargers won, so I love his pie. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking to everybody.